Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Government House. My name is Hugh Borram and I have the honour to be the Governor's Official Secretary, and I'll be the Master of Ceremonies today. This is the fifth and last of 5 ceremonies to present honours which were announced on Australia Day this year. As we start, could I please ask that your mobile phones are turned to silent? We do ask, please, there's no photography during the ceremony. There's an official photographer. You're welcome to take photographs in here and anywhere else in the house after the actual ceremony. It is being live streamed and it will be archived and available on our YouTube channel sometime later today. Before we start, can I ask you to join me, please, in thanking the band of the 1027 Battalion Royal South Australian Regiment. I will now announce the members of the official party. They are Ms Jen Roberts, the member for Hartley, representing the Premier; the Honourable Dennis Hood, MLC, representing the Leader of the Opposition; Commander Rebecca Wilson, Commanding Officer, HMAS Encounter; Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Glover, representing the Army Area Representative, South Australia; Group Captain Brendan Rogers, representing the Senior Australian Defence Force Officer, Edinburgh; and Detective Superintendent Darren Fielke, representing the Commissioner of Police. If you are able, can I now ask you please to be upstanding for the arrival of the Governor and Mr Bunton, and to remain standing for the playing of the Vice-Regal Salute.
Please be seated, everyone. Good morning. I'm going to start in the way I always do on Kaurna country, with an acknowledgement in the Kaurna language. Kaurna, bogana alia, Kaurna miana alia, yaitia miana alia kumatana yatananku. Ngātu nā klampindi Kaurna miana, yaitia yatamatina, pukininanku, yalaka takaricha. I acknowledge and pay my respects to Aboriginal people, whether from Kaurna country or other lands and regions, and I also acknowledge the Kaurna as the traditional owners from the past, today and into the future. Now, it's a great pleasure for Rod and for me together to welcome you all to Government House. We know that some of you are what we would call regulars. We know that some of you will have been quite a long time ago, but we also imagine that there are at least a few who are here for the very first time. We really want you to feel welcome. In our minds, this is very much your house, a house and gardens for all South Australians. I start by congratulating those I'm about to invest with their insignia. Today has a degree of formality about it. Those of you in uniform are often quite comfortable with a degree of formality, but I encourage everyone to think that this is a very personal occasion and one to enjoy. Also very much an occasion to be enjoyed by those of you who are here in support, the people in many respects who matter most, the people without whose support service would not necessarily have been able to be given. And for you, I hope it'll be a day to remember, not only for the person you're here to support, but because in the course of the ceremony, you'll come to understand what others have done. And what others have done is something pretty extraordinary. Awards in the Order of Australia are given for outstanding service and exceptional achievement. And this ceremony is a way of our society valuing that, acknowledging it. There are a few elements of it that I'll explain, just in case they're not obvious to everyone. The Premier is represented by Member of Parliament Jen Roberts, newly elected at our recent election. The Leader of the Opposition is represented by the Honourable Dennis Hood, Member of the Legislative Council. Service Chiefs and SAPOL Chief are represented as well. And today is quite a special day. There are some very specific awards being made, and the heads of the organisations employing, actually, in many cases, those we're honouring are here also. There are rather too many of you to mention by name, but I think it's important that everybody else understand that the leadership of the organisations is represented and they too acknowledge the service. I want to, if I can say, single out Rick Morris, who represents South Australia on the Order of Australia, or the Council for the Order of Australia, the council that considers all the nominations, normally in Canberra, although I think much of the preparatory work is done here, Rick. And Rick also represents South Australia on the Australian Bravery Decorations Council as well too. I want to acknowledge John Phillips, OAM, who's here representing the Chair of the Order of Australia Association of South Australia, and I hope a number of you will join the association after today. We are here really, all of us, because someone chose, in the case of organisations, it happens within the organisation, but for people receiving awards such as Order of Australia medals, and there are several of those today, you are only here because another Australian chose to nominate you. A little bit can be said about the public service medals as well too, because people within the public sector need to see exceptional achievement or outstanding service and nominate. The key word is nominate. I know some of you will have had experience nominating already, but for anyone who hasn't, I hope when you leave here today, you'll feel equipped to nominate other South Australians yourself, or to encourage other people to do it. There are many South Australians, many more South Australians, who are certainly worthy of receiving this kind of acknowledgement. And the final piece of advice really to recipients is, I encourage you please to wear your medals, to wear your pins, to wear your miniatures where that's appropriate. I'll be seeing you out and about, and I'd love to be able to come up and say, great to see you wearing your pin or your medal or whatever it might be. Now, Official Secretary, let's get to the ceremony proper.
Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Public Service Medal. Mr. Scott Anthony Bayliss is recognised for outstanding public service in delivering digital transformation and reform initiatives. Currently the Chief Services Officer at the Department of Treasury and Finance, Mr. Bayliss has excelled in leadership roles across multiple agencies throughout his 14-year career with the South Australian Government. In each role, he has consistently demonstrated a strong commitment to public service by improving access and outcomes for South Australians. Within the Attorney-General's Department, he led significant administrative reforms, including the establishment of the South Australian Employment Tribunal, the creation of the Fines Enforcement and Recovery Unit, and the establishment of the South Australian Civil and Administrative Tribunal. He also led the Criminal Justice Information Management Program, aimed at modernising and improving the flow and management of information across the criminal justice system. For 5 years, he performed the role of Chief Information Officer in the Department of Education. There, he embarked on a procurement and rollout program to provide quality, high-speed broadband for all schools and preschools. Known as SWIFT, the program delivered connections to more than 900 locations, representing 99.8% of all public education sites. Mr. Scott Anthony Bayliss. Ms. Rebecca Jane Huddy is recognised for outstanding public service as the Principal for Westport Primary School. Ms. Huddy is guided by the belief that every child, regardless of background, circumstance, advantage or disadvantage, is given the opportunity to thrive academically, socially and emotionally. Over her 15 years as Principal at Westport Primary at Semaphore Park, she has implemented a whole child approach by prioritising academic success alongside genuine wellbeing support for the diverse student population. She works closely with her leadership team and teaching staff to ensure each student is partnered with a teacher who is not only skilled in curriculum delivery, but is also the best fit to support the child's learning style, social emotional needs, and individual potential. Ms. Huddy implemented the Fringe Indigenous biannual event, which celebrates Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture and brings together students, families, artists, performers, and community members in a vibrant, respectful, and educational gathering. Under her leadership, Westport has grown from 150 students to almost 500 today, with NAPLAN results shifting from well below average to above state averages. Ms. Rebecca Jane Huddy. Ms. Tammy Michelle Probanek is recognised for outstanding public service through sustained leadership and reform in the Department of Treasury and Finance. Spanning more than 30 years, Ms. Probanek's career reflects a rare combination of technical excellence, visionary leadership, and a deep commitment to public service. Currently the Under-Treasurer, she is the first woman to hold this position. Beginning her career at the South Australian Government Financing Authority, she led major commercial projects, including significant property and business sales, and oversaw the transition of the government's banking services from the Reserve Bank of Australia to a commercial provider. She quickly rose through leadership roles, including as Director of Revenue and Executive Director of Budget and Performance. Demonstrating great expertise in fiscal policy, financial management, and policy development, her strategic leadership has delivered lasting impact. In 2023, she was instrumental in the government's housing response, A Better Housing Future, and played an important role in the successful financial merger of the University of Adelaide and the University of South Australia. She is also a driving force for cultural and policy change in the public sector, championing gender equality. She has supported women returning from maternity leave and has created opportunities for emerging leaders through mentoring and flexible work arrangements. Ms. Tammy Michelle Probanek. Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Australian Fire Service Medal. Mr. Martin Osmond Carney is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian Fire Service. Mr. Carney has made an enduring contribution to community safety through his leadership in hazardous operations, his innovation in volunteer training, and his commitment to resilience and inclusion. During almost 50 years' service with the CFS, he has undertaken the roles of training officer, brigade captain, and in other frontline operational positions at local and regional levels, including prolonged exposure to hazardous environments during major fires. His operational service is complemented by his expertise in training and preparedness. Drawing on his background in risk management, he developed a comprehensive skills-based training program for the Bradbury Brigade, covering fire behaviour, weather patterns, terrain, communication and safety. His service with the South Australian Fire and Emergency Services Commission as a volunteer support officer for Region 1 strengthened brigade cohesion, while his later role as the State Manager of Emergency Services for Red Cross SA saw him lead major deployments to disasters such as Cyclone Larry, the Queensland floods and Victoria's Black Saturday fires. Mr. Carney was also an early and active supporter of women in operational firefighting roles, helping to foster a more inclusive culture within the SACFS. Mr. Martin Osmond Carney. Mr. Stuart James Helmore is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian Fire Service. Since joining the Metropolitan Fire Service in 1993, Mr. Helmore has dedicated his career to advancing the education, skills and operational capability of the state's firefighters. Promoted to the rank of Commander in 2023, he regularly responds to incidents as part of the on-call roster. Serving as a structural firefighting instructor since 2005, he has significantly influenced the way structural firefighting is taught and practiced. His keen interest in understanding how fire behaves inside various structures has enabled him to drive innovation in training delivery, improving firefighter safety and operational effectiveness. An advocate for contemporary, evidence-based and best practice training, Mr. Helmore has been a significant force behind the creation of world-class structural firefighting training facility at the MFS Angle Park Training Centre. His influence extends internationally, most notably to Canada, where he assisted in developing and delivering instructor training programs across multiple provinces. His unwavering commitment, innovative approaches and collaborative efforts have significantly improved firefighter safety, operational effectiveness and interagency capability. Mr. Stuart James Helmore. Mr. Simon Russell Kirkmoe is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian Fire Service. Mr. Kirkmoe's 24-year commitment to the MFS has been marked by diligence and dedication. During this time, he has significantly contributed to training, continuous improvement, mentoring and leadership. In 2011, he participated in an emergency service sector statewide review into road crash rescue training, leading to joint interagency road crash rescue working group and common training packages. He has played a pivotal role in complex incidents as a rescue officer, attending major crashes on the freeway, undertaking vertical rescues at locations such as the Adelaide Oval rooftop climb, and performing rescues at Southend in the state's southeast. Mr. Kirkmoe has represented the MFS as a responder to the Victorian bushfires in 2009 and the bushfire emergency in Queensland in 2019. Outside of the MFS, Mr. Kirkmoe has been a member of his local CFS brigade since 1997 and has volunteered as a firefighter, senior firefighter, lieutenant and captain. Currently an operations commander with the MFS, his diligence and attention to continuous improvement through ongoing organisational training in technical skill sets makes him a sought-after mentor and leader. Mr. Simon Russell Kirkmoe. Mr. John William Probert is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian Fire Service. Mr. Probert has made a significant contribution to the safety and well-being of South Australians through his leadership in hazardous frontline operations, his commitment to building capability, and his enduring support for volunteers. He has worked with emergency services for more than 45 years, beginning with the South Australian State Emergency Service in Mount Gambier, where he was primarily involved in road crash rescue and contributed to the early development of vertical cliff rescue and cave rescue. He began his CFS career in 1999, contributing to community recovery efforts following the Wangari fire on the Eyre Peninsula, as well as leading CFS responses to major incidents. These included the 2019-20 fire danger season and New South Wales fires, the Blackford fire at Lucindale, the 2022 Coles fire near Naracoorte, and the Kangaroo Island fires. His leadership has been marked by prolonged exposure to hazardous operational environments and has ranged from coordinating large-scale firefighting efforts to personally supporting crews and communities during traumatic events. Mr. John William Probert. Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Ambulance Service Medal. Mrs. Sandra Joy Gucci is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian ambulance service. A volunteer officer at the Yorktown Ambulance Station, Mrs. Gucci has provided 24 years of exceptional service to the York Peninsula community and the SA Ambulance Service. In her role as a Yorktown volunteer team leader since 2011, she has mentored countless volunteers, coordinated training, and led her team through emergencies ranging from multi-casualty road accidents to large-scale bushfires. Her leadership was critical during the 2019-20 Lower York Peninsula bushfires, when she monitored the health of 150 firefighters, even though her own property was under threat. 2 years ago, she received commendations from the SA Ambulance Service and SA Police for her courage and professionalism in a high-risk mental health incident. She has strengthened the sustainability of ambulance services in the region by championing volunteer recruitment and retention and community engagement. Her dedication, leadership and compassion have made an enduring impact on the Yorktown community, her fellow ambulance volunteers and the SA Ambulance Service. Mrs. Sandra Joy Gucci. Mr. Kieran Dominic Johnson is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian ambulance service. Mr. Johnson's deep personal and professional commitment to the Riverland community has been consistently demonstrated through exceptional leadership, voluntary service, and an enduring focus on improving community outcomes, especially during times of crisis. From humble beginnings as a casual ambulance officer in the Riverland, Mr. Johnson has been in many frontline roles in the region over 24 years, including intensive care paramedic and clinical team leader at Renmark. He is also qualified in SWAS Remote to provide assistance via rope rescue work. During the Riverland flood emergency, he led the complex evacuation of 17 aged care residents from Renmark under high stress and high stakes conditions while his own home was under threat from the floodwaters. He was awarded the SA Ambulance Service Major Incident Medal for significant service during the floods. Further, he initiated local flood awareness training, co-developed a swift water safety package, and advocated for personal flotation devices for all Riverland crews. Mr. Johnson is widely respected for going above and beyond his professional duties to support both his local area and the broader South Australian community. Mr. Kieran Dominic Johnson. Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Emergency Services Medal. Mr. Kerry John Marshall is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian emergency service. Since joining the State Emergency Service Eastern Suburbs Unit 8 years ago, Mr. Marshall has responded to an extraordinary 1,344 operational call-outs. This makes him the top responder in his unit and among the top 5 responders statewide. Appointed as a unit manager in 2022, he leads one of the state's busiest units with professionalism, positivity and integrity in his volunteer role. Widely regarded as a transformational leader, he has enhanced his unit's performance and culture through mentoring and strategic planning, with a strong focus on team development and succession planning. He has undertaken key roles during major emergencies, including serving as Deputy Incident Controller during the River Murray floods and in planning support during the SA Inland Rivers floods. He has also undertaken deployments to Western Australia for Tropical Cyclone Seroja, to New South Wales for the floods, to Kangaroo Island for the bushfires, and to remote SA as part of the COVID-19 response. Mr. Marshall also contributes significantly at the strategic level as a respected voice on the South Australian SES State Executive Advisory Group, where he advocates on behalf of volunteers and contributes to the district leadership group. Mr. Kerry John Marshall. Mr. David William Potter is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian emergency service. A flagship moment in Mr. Potter's MFS career came during the devastating bushfire season of 2019-2020, when he was deployed to both Kangaroo Island and New South Wales. His extensive experience and calm strategic approach were critical to the successful management of these high-pressure incidents. As part of the incident management team on Kangaroo Island, he applied his considerable skills to coordinate firefighting efforts and support emergency services during one of the worst bushfire disasters in the state. He was also deployed to the Victorian Black Saturday bushfires in 2009 and the Cuddly Creek fires in 2019-20. In addition to his operational experience and former role as station officer, Mr. Potter has played an instrumental role in the MFS Learning and Development Department as a recruit coordinator. In this capacity, he displayed exceptional leadership and dedication, successfully training more than 120 new recruits who are now serving the South Australian community. Mr. David William Potter. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been awarded the Australian Corrections Medal. Ms. Julie Margot Telfer is recognised for distinguished service as a member of an Australian Correctional Service. Ms. Telfer commenced service with the Department for Correctional Services, formerly the Prisons Department and Adult Probation Service, in South Australia in March 1976 as a probation and parole officer. Over her 50-year career, she has served in a range of frontline roles within community corrections and is currently a community corrections officer. During this time, she has demonstrated extraordinary dedication, compassion, and professionalism in working with some of the most vulnerable and marginalised people in society. Recognised for her ability to engage with clients respectfully and empathetically, she guides them through complex challenges with understanding and support. Ms. Telfer had a central role in the working group that integrated home detention supervision into community corrections centres, providing practical insight and solutions to embed this new system effectively. A long-standing advocate for staff, she is the longest-serving Public Service Association representative within community corrections, her advocacy influencing positive change and service improvements. Ms. Julie Margot Telfer. Your Excellency, the following recipient has been awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division. Mr. Patrick Charles Burke is recognised for service to the community through public speaking coaching. Through rostrum, probus and schools, Mr. Burke has been steadfastly assisting people to find their voice for almost 4 decades. An enthusiastic rostrum member, he has filled all management roles at club level, passing on his knowledge as a coach, training coaches and starting new clubs. From 2005 to 2007, he served as president of Rostrum SANT before elevation to national president for another 2 years. Widely known for being an exemplary coach and outstanding speaker, Rostrum's highest award, Freeman of Rostrum, was conferred on him in 2011. In other recognition, he was awarded a gold medal by the Australian Rostrum Council for exceptional service to the organisation. He won the Albert Aponyi Trophy for impromptu speaking 3 times and was Speaker of the Year in the ACT in 1973 and South Australia and the Northern Territory in 2010. Mr. Burke has helped hundreds of South Australian secondary students from more than 50 schools compete in the annual Rostrum Voice of Youth public speaking competition. Mr. Patrick Charles Burke. Your Excellency, that concludes the presentations for this morning and this session.
Thank you. Well, everyone, as I stand at the front, I'm not only looking at the person I'm investing, I'm also have the opportunity to look at you. And I think I could see you all actively exercising your imaginations as the citations were read out, and you imagine what it would be like to live the kinds of lives and contribute in the way that recipients today have done. So I ask you to join together to congratulate all of them, as well as the one person that you're all here for.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please be upstanding for the departure of Her Excellency the Governor, Mr. Bunton, and the official party. Can I please ask the recipients to remain in the room for the official photograph and invite the guests to join Her Excellency and Mr. Bunton in the drawing rooms for morning tea. Thank you very much.